their first, or hands them just their third loss overall this season, second in SEC play. That sets the stage for Game 2, which is just underway. Let's take a look at this Texas lineup. And Cody, beginning with this young lady, Ashton Maloney, and there you see batting in the middle of the order, Leanne Good, and they've got really good hitters, top to bottom, 1 through 9 in this lineup.
And I know that there are things as revenge matches. I'm not sure this is necessarily one of those, but if Maloney is going to set the tone for them, that foul ball on pitch 1 was a swing of anger. That was a hard hit ball. I think we should, in theory, be in for another treat. I don't know if it'll be as good as Game 1, but if Game 1 is a sign of anything, there's a whole lot of talent between these two teams and a lot of opportunity for a lot of fun.
A first out is recorded as Maloney grounds out. That's a good start for Mississippi State starting pitcher, the lefty, the sophomore from California, Delaney Everett, who has really turned into, in her sophomore campaign, State's number 2 pitcher.
Yeah, at this point in the season, it feels like she's kind of cemented herself as that number 2 pitcher, and you take a look at her numbers, you really can't blame the staff and everything for making it that way. 7-0, a 1.45 ERA. 38 and 2/3 innings of work, but has been incredibly successful in those innings.
When you look at what she's done in SEC action, not a ton of innings thrown, but she has been the next player up whenever the Bulldogs have to give Raylan Chaffin a break. She's looking, though, for that really good SEC performance. Her numbers have been okay against conference hitters. Small sample size, only weekend number 3 for State in SEC play. But if she can become more consistent against conference hitting, then all of a sudden the Bulldogs have a really good 1-2 punch in the circle. Strike 3. A good start for Delaney Everett as Henry goes down on strikes. Look at that late movement.
This is kind of what we expect from Delaney Everett at this point. Remember, only a sophomore, so still a lot of time and a lot of places to grow, but you look at her freshman season and just a massive improvement.
And a ground ball out to Edwards, who throws to first in time. 1-2-3. Everett retires Texas in the top of the first.
When we talked to Samantha Ricketts earlier this week, kind of thought about putting her in front of Sacco just to have someone in front of her, and it kind of works out when she's at the bottom.
In the circle, facing this Bulldog lineup, is the senior right-hander Mac Morgan. First pitch, and the ball is bounced right back to her in the circle, and she throws to first, and quickly Sacco is retired. I'm not even sure Sacco ever dropped the bat.
I don't think she did. No, you're right. Hey, that's a good success rate, though. 1 pitch, 1 out. That's the way you want to start if you're Texas.
Everett and Morgan, here in the first at least, have gotten off to quick starts. No one on and 1 gone for Nadia Barbary, who had the tying RBI base hit in the 6th inning before State came back and walked it off in the 7th as they took Game 1 by a score of 4-3. Morgan on the year, a 6-1 record in the circle for the Longhorns. A good ERA of 2.98. This is her 9th start and 15th appearance this year for the Longhorns under head coach Mike White. She's thrown 42 2/3 innings on the season, so her numbers in terms of innings thrown and overall production, very similar to Delaney Everett. Everett has had a little more success in some midweek non-conference games, giving her slightly better numbers.
I mean, really across the board, they're very, very similar. Strikeouts, walks. The biggest difference is ERA. otherwise, statistically, on paper, a lot of similar stats, but I think it makes for another good matchup. Just, again, it may not be the matchup we saw in game one, but it's still going to be a really good matchup.
You look at Texas as a team, their pitching staff, not only one of the better ones in the SEC, one of the better staffs in the country. Top 10 in team ERA nationally and top 5 in the SEC as Barbary gets the first hit of the night. She lines one over the head of Good at shortstop for a single, and she'll stop at first base, 1 on, 1 gone.
Yeah, good piece of hitting from Nadia Barbary. Just gets enough of it to get it over the head of Good, and might have even hit her glove as she made the jump to try and make a play on the ball, but nonetheless.
Associate head coach Tyler Bratton, but couldn't quite put on the brakes fast enough, and Texas made her pay for the mistake.
And just a great hit from Blaine, gets it over the head of Bennett, and this is a really good play from Stewart at third. Just Barbary kind of trips, good tag. But we were talking about beforehand, you got to be careful if you're Texas. If State gets going in the first inning, there's usually some trouble. State has been very successful when they get going early on, and to be able to get that second out there versus Barbary being safe at third or even scoring a run, that's a big plus for the Longhorns.
And I think the call was made correctly. I don't think she gets all the way home, but then again, we also didn't know that the ball would get cut off on its way in. That's one of those bang plays that
I'm not gonna lie, when we looked at it on a replay, it looked a lot closer than it did in real time.
But the ruling is that she's out at third base, so a good job. The Longhorns catch a break.
I'm really impressed with, as good as these two teams are, as competitive as they are, that we didn't see a single challenge in game one. Now, there weren't a whole lot you could challenge, but there were a couple that later towards the game you might want to give an extra look just for the sake of maybe we catch a break. So I'm really impressed with how that turned out.
I had a similar thought. Once that game went final, I kind of looked back at my notes and said, we never had a single challenge or replay, did we, the entire game?
There's two of them that I can think of that they probably would have stood, but the ground ball up the first base line that looked like was fair when Riley Hull fielded it, tagged first, and then maybe for the sake of it, you could have reviewed if that ball Paige Ernstis hit was fair or foul, but
I thought for a second Texas might ask for a challenge, but
I mean, late in the game, what do you have to lose?
Right.
Really, in that scenario, what do you have to lose?
There you see Mike White in a Texas dugout. The walk is issued. So State, with the shortstop Edwards, they draw the 2-out walk. The Bulldogs have 2 on the bases. Blaine at second, Edwards at first. It would have been bases loaded had Barbary not stumbled around third and been tagged out trying to dive back to the bag. That's all in the rearview mirror now as Kiara Sells steps up and takes strike one. Kiara Sells, one of 2 juniors in the everyday lineup for State this year, along with Morgan Bernardini, who have really stepped up their game after being used very sparingly in their freshman and sophomore seasons, almost exclusively as pinch runners. They've stepped up in a big way to help this team offensively and defensively so far in 2025.
Yeah, both just really smart players and making the most of each opportunity they get. Kind of took some time before they got into that starting lineup, but wow, this year they've made it count.
That ball is a little looper that bounces right in front of Scott at second, and she's able to get it on the short hop and get the force outs was instrumental in reshaping the Bulldog offense under former head coach Van Studeman. And then when she took over, Ricketts, before the 2020 season, has really taken this program to that proverbial next level.
Oh, you take a look at everything she's done on that list we just saw. Good play there, but you take a list at that, or look at that, you can add a new line. Win versus #1 team in the nation with
right.
a legitimate chance now with 2 games left to take the series.
Still a long way to go, but yeah,
it helps when you lead early, though. Taking game 1, I think, is huge.
Yes, it definitely, the Bulldogs riding a wave of momentum into game 2 with the crowd behind them and the celebration after game 1. You look at what State did pre-conference. They won a bunch of games, but most SEC teams win a bunch of games pre-conference. And so there were still some questions, even though as Styles makes that play at first and there are 2 gone on 2 ground balls on the infield. There were some questions. State had a couple of good wins. They beat Texas Tech, they beat Nebraska, etc. They got a chance to be ranked. Then they had that weekend against Auburn where they sweep Auburn. But after that, I think some people were rightfully so going, okay, State looked good, but how good is Auburn, really?
Yeah, I think that's kind of been the question with this team most of the season. Like you said, yes, Texas Tech, Nebraska,
Penn State.
Penn State.
A few other quality wins in the non-conference.
And then you had the loss to Duke, which was not pretty by any means, but also Raylan Chaffin had pitched the game before, so she wasn't in, and we hadn't really seen the rotation figured out yet. So I'm curious if you go back and replay that game where they both sit now in the season, how it falls, but they've had some, I think the best way to put it is they've had some really good wins, but they've had some really bad losses.
Yeah.
Because you take a look, they're 29-6.
That's a really good record.
4 losses or to teams that you shouldn't lose to.
That's fair, I think. Big swing and a miss right there. Technically a foul tip into the catcher's mitt. Either way, a 2-2 count. So
you got the loss to Northwestern, lost 1 to Alabama, the loss to Middle Tennessee.
Laney Everett is dealing early in this one. No score in Starkville. And we're back here in Starkville. There you see head Texas softball coach Mike White has done a great job in Austin rejuvenating this Texas program. Before that, did a really good job in the Pac-12 conference, rest in peace, with the Oregon Ducks. There you see, you and I talked about this a little bit in game 1, but when you look at what he's done here in Texas, took them to the College World Series, to the championship series in 2 seasons, last season and back in 2022. His offense has been really good all 3 years he's been there. Perhaps most impressively, he has taken whoever he's been coaching to at least the Super Regionals in every single season as a head coach. That's really difficult to do.
I'm not sure there are many coaches that can say that.
And it's not like he's been a coach for 5 years. I mean, he's been coaching now for 15, 16 seasons. That ball is grabbed by the shortstop. Nice job off the bat of Morgan Bernardini. Reading it well was Good. And Good makes the play. Out number 1 here in the bottom of the second. No score yet.
I don't know if it's just the day or that area of the field, but everything hit to shortstop. It's a big confidence boost for Lexi Sosa and Mississippi State. Kind of recently in SEC play has been in a bit of a hitting slump and gets all of this one. We mentioned it in game 1. Anything opposite field should worry you if Lexi Sosa is at the plate, and that's why.
The Bulldogs have been really aggressive here against Mac Morgan. A lot of really hard swings early in the at-bats. But you're right, that could be, for Sosa, a slump buster. And you saw just the strength she has to drive that ball the opposite way. How many opposite field home runs? She has 9 home runs total. How many of those have been to the opposite side of the field?
The majority of them. I can't tell you off the top of my head, but I would say 5 at the minimum. I wouldn't be surprised if it was 7. She likes going oppo taco, and she is pretty good at it.
Timed that one up just good enough. The Dogs are on top 1-0. They scored first in game 1, also in the second. It's like deja vu here. Hull hits one off the glove of Stewart. Throw to first, though, is still there in time. Good job to recover by Stewart. She took that ball, though, right off the waistline. That's going to sting for a few minutes.
Yeah, nice hustle from Riley Hull, but a really good second effort from Stewart just to stay calm, grab it, make the throw, pick up another out for Texas. They have a lot of talent on this team. Keeping it close is what they have to do. And even if they do fall behind by more than 3 or 4 runs, I still think that they have a team that can get themselves back into this one. But they've already had to come from behind once today. I don't think you want to do that again.
You don't want that to become a habit, for sure. Morgan Stiles now the batter for the Bulldogs, the number 9 hitter in the order. Used in that 9 hole as kind of that second leadoff batter. The freshman second baseman had a home run in game 1. How about the freshman hitters for State in game 1? There's only 2 of them, Stiles and Ernstis. But Stiles had a home run. Ernstis had it for Texas starter Mac Morgan. She gets chased in the second inning, and Texas will make a change. We'll come back and introduce you to the brand new Texas pitcher right after this. Citlali Gutierrez, the junior from Stamford, Texas, 5'11" right-hander, is your brand new Texas pitcher. She inherits a no one on, 2 out situation, but State has scored 2 runs, Cody, in their second at bat. And this game is beginning to look very similar to the first 3 innings of game 1. The State also took an early 2-run lead.
I think the difference in this one is State is hitting more, and once they get in a rhythm, that can be a little bit dangerous. But you take a look at Gutierrez, and we talked about just really how deep this bullpen is and how many pitchers they have that can be very effective. Kind of one of those luxuries for Texas. If one isn't playing great, you can go to the next one, try and win this by committee, and especially since the game for Saturday, game 2, which is being played now, was turned into a doubleheader, you're going to get that day of rest, so you can really do whatever you need to in game 2, considering that both teams only used their aces in game 1.
And Texas has really kind of done a Jane Holstaff sort of approach in games not started by Tegan Kavan anyway. And there's the strikeout recorded by Gutierrez. And that will end the inning. State, though, scores 2 runs on 2 hits, including a innings.
Don't look now, but they're halfway there. At least to that 12 SEC win mark, which is the most in program history. So,
and they're not even through their 3rd weekend of action in conference. They lead Texas 2-0. The Longhorns have coming up in this at-bat, the top of the 3rd, the bottom 3 in the order, Stewart, Mitchell, and Bennett. The 7 through 9 hitters, if anyone reaches the top of the order, Maloney is set to come up. Stewart, the sophomore, batting over .360 on the year, hits one out to Stiles behind the bag at second, and Stiles off of one hop Throws to first in time to get the out.
Morgan Stiles is doing it all. Game 1, home run, made a couple of really good plays at second base, and again, hits a home run last inning, making plays on the defensive side too. Has been a big plus for Mississippi State in this series.
One gone and no one on as Mitchell, the first baseman, steps up for the first time in the game. Is hitting just 5 points below 400. Rosebud, Arkansas. Lines one to the glove of Stiles. Out number 2. Stiles got a home run last half inning and now has made 2 good defensive plays here in the third.
Yeah, becoming Miss Do-It-All right now. I mean, I think if you're everyone else, just sit back and watch. You're loving this. She's doing it all for you right now.
Enjoy the show, right? Texas will now send the lefty Bennett up to the plate. The left fielder, Katie Bennett, a junior and a good 9-hole hitter. State brings the infield in at the corners as Barbary and Hull move up a few feet from their respective bags, especially Barbary at third. The 2-0. It's a foul tip off the top of the bat. 2 balls and a strike. The Bulldogs have Blaine behind the plate, Hull at first, Stiles at second, Edwards at short, Barbary at third. Bernardini in left, Sacco in center, and Sells in right. Swing and a miss, and the count evens up 2-2.
That's a great pitch from Delaney Everett. Just gets her swinging for the fences, and Bennett has a chance to go up in the count 3-1 and swings away and even up, puts pressure on her.
They're going to say the count is actually 3-1. So I'm not sure how I got off on the count there, but the count was 3-1. Now it's 3-2. As that ball gets called for a strike despite it being dropped by Blaine. So now a full count. That was odd. That ball is trying to be slapped the opposite way. And Bennett does have that capability. She can swing away or slap, power slap if you will. So we'll do it again. Count remains full.
I am no math genius, but was there not a foul ball and then a swinging strike too when we said the count was 2-2?
I thought so. I thought
just
so.
seeing where we got lost, because
yeah, I'm not sure, as Bennett lines that one straight towards the Bulldog dugout. Delaney Everett in the circle for her third inning of work, has gone 2 2/3 of shutout softball. Has struck out 2 as well. Oh, almost hit her. That's a swinging third strike. The ball, though, gets away from Blaine, and Bennett's going to hustle down to first base. That was an odd-looking play. But technically a strikeout, but the ball got away from Blaine on a ball in which Bennett was fooled badly.
I'm not sure anyone really knew what was happening. Just an odd play.
And the ball rolled away from Blaine so quickly there wasn't anything she could do about it. So Bennett strikes out swinging but reaches first base on a wild pitch. And she becomes the first base runner tonight for Texas. So the tying run at the plate in the form of Maloney. Ashton Maloney steps in for the second time in the ball game. Takes that one downstairs.
No, just based off of her swings in the first inning, I'm not sure I want to throw anything near her right now.
You got to be careful.
And I really think that goes for a lot of this lineup for Texas. Not a great day in game one. Only recorded a total of 4 hits. And so far, 2 innings and 2 outs in, haven't recorded a hit. It's a matter of time is what it feels like.
Maloney trying to change that right now as she faces Everett for the second time in the ball game. Grounded out to Barbary at third, her first time up. Bennett running at first. 2 gone, 1 on. The leadoff hitter in the lineup at the plate. A .472 hitter, swing and a miss on a ball that was down and in. Everett gets her 4th strikeout of the ball game, and State maintains their 2-run lead.
It's the same exact pitch, both trying to slap at it. Great idea from Taryn McKinney and Delaney Everett, just sending the same pitch to them, getting them out the same way. Unfortunate break allowing Bennett to get on base from the drop strike 3, but I think that's a great game plan, just going back-to-back on those pitches.
It worked and got State out of the inning. Good eye, by the way, partner.
Great execution, too, to locate it in that same spot, just reading what was going to happen.
Nadia Barbary leads off the inning for Mississippi State, the bottom of the 3rd. Barbary, Blaine, and Edwards, 2, 3, and 4 in the order. Followed by Sells, if anyone reaches, facing Citlali Gutierrez, who got the last out of the 2nd inning and is now out there for what she hopes to be her first full inning of work in relief of starter Mac Morgan, who was chased after giving up 2 home runs last inning. And there you see the career progression of Nadia Barbary. First 2 years, I mean, she was good her first 2 years, but she has made significant leaps offensively here in the year 2025.
I mean, I think if you look at her freshman year, or sophomore year, and now her junior year, she's risen like 60 points in average each year. It's just been really impressive. And by that math, she's hitting 4-something in her senior year if it continues to grow like
That's
that.
Right. And I know Samantha Ricketts and company hope it does continue to do that. 375 the average right now for Barbary.
Freshman year batted 236, 291 sophomore year, and now 370. I mean, just unreal.
I mean, that's what you want to see. If you want to sell to recruits that you can come here and get developed as a player, you have Exhibit A right here in Nadia Barbary. Oh, that's going to be, I believe, off the handle of the bat. Oh, they call that ball 3. And they put up on the scoreboard ball 3. I thought it for sure hit the nub of the bat, but 3-2 the count. That's a 4-hopper out to short. Gloved and thrown to first in time. Not an easy play by Leanne Good, and she gets the throw there in time, and Barbary is retired. Looking at that Texas infield, a little bit different look in game 2 versus game 1. You got Stewart at third, Good at short, Mitchell at first, but Mia Scott is starting at second base here in game 2. First career start at second base for number 10 in the white and burnt orange.
I mean, not an ideal game 1. Got to make some adjustments. You don't need to make wild adjustments, though, and seeing if a little change there will help.
Gutierrez has gone 2/3 of an inning in relief. Has allowed, or has recorded rather, 1 strikeout and 1 ground out. So no one has reached base yet against Gutierrez, but Blaine has a 3-ball, no strikes count. You would imagine she'll be taking right here. Blaine had a really hard-hit double her last time up. That's when State got 2 batters on in the first, but could not do anything with it. This is really, I mean, State already has 4 hits. 2 in the first and 2 in the second. And that's going to be hit number 5 of the ball game as Blaine pulls one over the head of Stewart into left.
And we kind of talked about it earlier. You're getting into dangerous territory if you're Texas, allowing Mississippi State to hit like this early on. When they get in a groove, when they start getting consistent with hitting, they do it in bunches. And they haven't done it yet. The 2 runs in this inning, and then even in the first game, they didn't score in bunches, but you give them the ability to, they're going to, and it's going to hurt you in the long run.
It brings up the shortstop, Kylie Edwards. She takes strike 1 from Gutierrez.
I think the thing about this Mississippi State team, too, that you got to be careful about is not just the fact that they'll hit in bunches, but this is a lineup 1 through 9, maybe that won't hit it, the deep ball consistently, but they can hit it.
That ball gets away from Atwood. Taking off for second and reaching there, standing up is Blaine. And the Dogs have a runner on in scoring position, less than 2 outs. That'll be a wild pitch charge to Gutierrez. Wasn't a whole lot Atwood could do about that one. Crossed her up pretty badly. And Atwood is a great collegiate catcher. The Bulldogs now with a runner on in scoring position will elect to put some speed on the bases as the freshman Greta Grassel, number 1, will now run at second, replacing the catcher Blaine. That gives Blaine the opportunity to go back in and start getting on the catcher's gear. Give her legs a bit of a rest. That's a line drive foul. Look out down there.
I think that might have hit the tripod.
Our camera operators have to keep their head on a swivel.
Been a couple that have been hit to the left or the right side of the field where we've had to do a little bit of dodging. Not we, the
They,
camera crew.
yes.
Yeah.
They don't dodge, though. They stand their ground like professionals.
Yeah, good for them. I dodge.
You would dive off.
Oh, absolutely.
Just abandon the camera and Superman it off the edge of the dugout.
We have a net in front of us, and I move my head when a ball comes and hits the net.
Well, in your defense, we have seen multiple balls come up and into our booth.
Not often, but we have seen
and break
it.
things. So
Yes, we have seen that.
I'm gonna start bringing my glove.
You don't want to barehand it?
A baseball, yes. A softball. My hands aren't quite large enough. So I got Kenny Pickett hands. A full count to Edwards. And she draws the walk. So that'll be a walk issued. First one issued by Gutierrez. And State's got 2 runners on base. And timeout will be called. Coach Taylor, the Texas pitching coach, will talk things over. Patty Ruth Taylor.
I wonder how short of a leash really every pitcher for Texas is really on. Like I said, you have the day of rest tomorrow. I feel like that really gives you the ability to use whoever and however many pitchers you want because they'll all be on a day of rest, kind of on similar playing ground to Mississippi State. I really think it makes that Sunday game interesting because you can use whichever pitcher you want to and kind of switch them out if you want to.
You would imagine that both teams go back to their aces on Sunday, which means, I agree with you, they've got everyone else at their disposal in this game without there being a game on Saturday. In case you're wondering why we're playing 2 games today, it's because tomorrow appears to be a total washout. So that ball gets away from Atwood, and a very alert bit of base running by the freshman Grassel. She slides into third safely, and the Dogs have runners at the corners with less than 2 outs.
Yeah, and Grassel knew almost immediately, too, and it gets behind the batter, Sells, and just like that, puts her into better scoring position.
High fly ball, should be caught. Will it be deep enough to bring the run home? Yes, it will. Good job by Sells to get that ball hit into the air. That's great situational hitting. Grassel, thanks to her alert base running, is able to get in a scoring position, and the Dogs manufacture their 3rd run of the night and increase their lead to 3-0.
I think good awareness from Kylie Edwards, too. Wanted to go 2, but able to read the play that ball is coming to second instead the throw home, able to stay at first and not cause really a bad out.
It brings up Morgan Bernardini. The Bulldogs have now scored 3 runs on 5 hits in the ball game, 1 run on 1 hit here this inning, and really just missed out on a golden scoring chance in their first at-bat. So they have been able to get on base with regularity so far here in the first 3 innings of Game 2 of this doubleheader.
Yeah, this is a team that likes to hit in bunches, and they like to do it early on, and maybe not from what we've seen in other games scoring as much, but it's Texas. They're not going to give you a lot. You have to take what you can get, and I think if you would have asked Mississippi State or head coach Samantha Ricketts, would you be happy with 3-0 lead in the 3rd inning at the beginning of this? I think she would have been super thrilled about that.
100%. There's the Bulldog head coach. Had a great visit. That ball is lined right to the second baseman, Scott. Making her first ever start there. Made that play look natural. Dogs tack on 1 more, though. Last 2 or 3 years, but 99 runs off of homers this season. 40% of all scoring so far this year has come via the long ball, including 2 runs in the ball game tonight and 1 run in the ball game earlier today.
I think that's a pretty good ratio to live by, that 40% coming from home runs, because you don't want to live and die by the home run, but you want it to complement the rest of your game. So I think the way they're hitting, considering how often they get on base and then kind of just complementing it with the long ball, I think that's what's made this team so dangerous. I think you look at certain moments like today, though, with Morgan Stiles and then Lexi Sosa, those are 3 solo shots. You're probably wishing there was some base runners on.
High fly ball. Going back is Bernardini, and she makes the catch over the shoulder as Caden Henry gave it a ride. It's allowed out, though, for the first out to the top of the 4th.
You know, the outfield hasn't had a ton of work today from Mississippi State, but have made some really good plays when they've been counted on, really in left field. We saw Sells there in Game 1, and now Bernardini. I mean, I think this is some of the best softball these first 11 innings of this series that Mississippi State has played this season.
I would agree with you. Strike is called as Scott steps in. She made the nice defensive play to get the Longhorns out of the home half of the 3rd just a few minutes ago. A 1-1 from Everett. High fly ball and foul for strike 2.
It's amazing, though. We talk about some of the best softball State's been playing, but Texas, I don't know in what world you're mad that you gave up 4 runs in a game to a team that can hit like this in game 1. And even now, we still got some more game to play, but just, for instance, if they only hold them to 3 runs, I don't know what world you're mad in a situation like that. I think it shows how good these teams are in really what the SEC is made of.
When we were getting ready for these broadcasts and when we were sitting down and talking to the coaches of these 2 teams earlier this week, we all kind of marveled at how statistically the 2 teams incredibly similar. Both the offensive numbers and the pitching numbers and the defensive numbers. The numbers of Texas all just about a little bit better than State, but State not far behind at all. And Coach White of Texas, when we asked him what's going to be the difference in your opinion, and he said the team that makes the fewest mistakes. He said these 2 teams are both really good, and the team that makes the fewest mistakes is going to win. That ball is crushed to center field and gone. And the Longhorns are on the board. Mia Scott hits one to the deepest part of News Park. And they will get on the board, and they have cut State's lead down to 2. It's 3-1.
That's something that Texas needed desperately. The top of the lineup just has not had a good day, and Scott finally gets all of this one and just crushes it towards center field, and kind of saw this in game 1. State gets out to a lead, and Texas puts a little rally together. We'll see if they're able to do that and maybe make themselves comfortable instead of having it so close.
We'll see if the Longhorns can ride some momentum. How will Delaney Everett now respond? That was not just the first run allowed by her. That was the first hit allowed by her in the ball game tonight. So can she shake it off and get right back to it? As the National Player of the Year candidate, Reese Atwood, one of the most decorated players in Texas history, steps up. 0 for 1 so far in the game. She hits one high in the air, stays on the infield though. Second baseman calls for it. Stiles makes the catch, and there are 2 gone as Atwood is retired. So a nice response there by Everett.
Yeah, and she's not going to just blow you away with strikeouts. Is really going to rely on the infield, the outfield. 30 strikeouts through 42 and a third, but really a lot of help from the rest of her team, and it's kind of what's fun to watch about Everett as a pitcher is, she'll toss a strikeout, but you get to watch the infield make some really good-looking plays.
No one on and 2 gone as Siemens will step up. 0 for 1 today. She grounded out to Stiles at second, her first time up. That was in the second. Hits one off the glove, backhanded by Stiles. Throw to first, though, will not be in time. Great job to hustle up the line to first. And now the tying run will come to the plate for Texas in the form of Leanne Good.
Yeah, a good play from Stiles, and she didn't rush the throw. I think she could have moved a little quicker to try and get that out, but I like the patience is, I'm going to make the throw, see if we can get the out, but I'm not going to rush it and let her get to second.
Second.
Great play from the freshman.
And if she doesn't get there, that was a slow roller because it glanced off the glove of Everett. If Stiles doesn't get to it, that rolls slow enough to the outfield that Siemens might have gotten to second base.
I don't know if she picked it up.
Timeout call by the Bulldogs. Samantha Ricketts and Taryn Millett-McKinney go out there. And there is a lot of activity in the Bulldog bullpen. Josie Marin at number 55 is actively warming up, as is the winning pitcher from game number 1 today, 25, Raylan Chaffin, who threw 7 innings of softball earlier this afternoon.
You can't see our faces, but I looked over there and just was shocked. I know that you want to win these games, but seeing her, if she would have come back into this one, I mean, what a player. I mean, just kind of shows you what type of person, what kind of a player she is. I don't know if they're going to go that direction.
Pop up, that will drift into the stands and land right in front of us. Couldn't see if a fan made a play or not. 0-2 the count on Good, who was 0 for 1 against Everett tonight. Struck out swinging her first time up back in the second. Runner on at first with 2 gone. Texas down by 2. Scott gave the Longhorns their first run of this ball game with a solo shot to a straightaway center field earlier this inning. Good had a home run herself back in game 1. Hits this ball a country mile. It's foul though and lands in the Bulldog bullpen. Bernardini gave chase but ran out of room. Lexi Sosa is also down there for State.
Looks like they've got everyone down there right now.
Got half the team down there.
I think we saw Sarah Phillips down there too. I mean,
pop up. Styles calls for it and makes the play. So Styles records several outs in that half inning.
100 plays in the plays on defense. I mean, has been really a ball magnet at second base and making plays and really just smart plays, not forcing things and letting things play out. She's been a big part of the success for this Bulldog team in this series.
Sosa will lead things off offensively for the Bulldogs. They scored 2 runs in the second on a couple of home runs, including one off the bat of Lexi Sosa. That, though, came against the starting pitcher for Texas, Morgan. So Sosa is now facing the reliever, Gutierrez. That ball right off the end of the bat. Going to be a difficult play, but Scott, I think, misread that initially. It took a weird hop, but
yeah,
still have plenty of time to get the ball to first in time to get the out.
I'm not sure if it was a bad read. I think it had a weird spin, and when it hit the ground, she had to adjust because of the spin. Hey, all the same, though, good play on the ball, able to make the adjustment and get the out.
Good job by Scott making her first career start at second base. Has been a really good player at Texas for a long time, the senior. State now has Riley Hull at the plate. The Bulldog first baseman is 0 for 1 in the game. Batting .222 on the year, hitting 8th in the lineup. Hit 8th in both this game and the first game of this day-night doubleheader. Takes that one for a strike, and the count's 1-1. These two teams will not play tomorrow. They are scheduled, weather permitting, to play game 3 at 1 o'clock Central Time on Sunday. It'll be Will Kohlmeyer and Brittany McKinney on the call for that one, as Cody and I will take off the Sabbath for a day of rest.
Nice little day off.
I've got my son's 8-year-old birthday party tomorrow afternoon, so I'm going to need a day off.
I have a birthday party, just not your son's.
Well, you're invited in case you wanted to, pull a double header of 8-year-old birthday parties.
I appreciate the offer, but I think I'm good with one.
You think your knees are hurting now? Go out there and skate with 8-year-olds for 2 hours.
I'm good, thank you.
You'll never walk again. The payoff pitch, and it misses outside. Oh no, a delayed strike call. Oh man. The dramatic pause from Tanya Cash. And that will be a strikeout for Gutierrez.
That's a very delayed call, and it's a close one. It has been. You take a look at both of these games as a whole. It's been a pitcher's zone.
It has.
So, I think you got to see where the ump's coming from.
High fly ball should be caught though, and is caught 2 steps in front of the track by Henry. And State is retired. Game 1 today, and is now coming on in the 5th inning of Game 2. 16 wins on the year. This will be appearance number 26 on the season. Has a really good ERA of 1.5. Has now thrown over 107 innings on the season. She has been the workhorse for State this year, especially in SEC play. It looks like she's coming on to try to get the final 9 outs of this ball game as her team is hanging on to a 2-run lead over Texas.
Yeah, went the distance in Game 1, 105 pitches thrown, and I was trying to calculate real quickly to see in SEC series what that average pitch count has been through Auburn and Alabama to open up SEC play. Averages 235 pitches on the weekend, so kind of on pace with that. And I don't know the plan here of head coach Samantha Ricketts, but maybe if you win Game 2, you give her the break on Sunday and you don't even get close to that pitch count.
Who knows? But right now I think they sense an opportunity, State does, of taking 2 from Texas, and they're going to put their best out there to try to win the ball game right now.
Yeah, when we talked to Texas head coach Mike White kind of about environment and everything and kind of how to win these games. For one, he said one of the funniest things I think I've ever heard a coach say was throw a shutout. Yes, that is the best way to win a game. I thought that was absolutely
the
awesome.
Easiest way to guarantee you win. You don't allow the other team to ever score.
But besides the fact, kind of alluding to the fact that you just can't let the home team's crowd get into it, which I think at times Texas kind of has allowed, and News Park has had a really good crowd today.
Very good crowd. An earlier than normal start, but the crowds come out and they have been treated to 2 really good games. A 4-3 Bulldog win in Game 1 and a tight one here in the 5th inning as we begin to hit the home stretch. 2-2 the count on Katie Stewart, the starting third baseman and a right-handed hitter for Texas. Stewart, Mitchell, and Bennett set up to face Chaffin. So Chaffin comes on in relief, and I tell you what, Delaney Everett pitched really well for 4 innings tonight.
Yeah, Delaney Everett, in the time that she's had this season, has done really well, just kind of has been limited to innings, and I think it might be kind of a youth thing, still a sophomore. Why would you not go to the senior and Raylan Chaffin and the way that she's been playing?
Chaffin lost control of that one and plunks Stewart on the left leg. Chaffin earlier today, though, 7 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, struck out 6, and walked only 1. Got the win, her 16th of the season, and her team's 29th victory of the year. The tying run at the plate now for Texas. Good bunt laid down. Throw to first is there in time as Stiles covers the bag just in the nick of time. Mitchell is retired. Stewart advances over into scoring position. Texas offensively although they have a lot of power and gaudy averages, they're really good at kind of an old school small ball approach when they need to be.
Oh, I was going to say, I kind of like where Texas is going in this situation. You get the lead off, walk, or hit by pitch, and now 1 out, you advance her and trying to score a run.
That ball is hit over the head of Sacco, but she recovers in time to make the catch. My goodness, the speed defensively of Sierra Sacco to rob an extra base hit away from Maloney, or from Bennett, rather.
Yeah, that's a look at this from Sierra Sacco, the speed, and then immediately the throw back. I think Stewart kind of made a mistake with leading off and thinking that that ball is not going to be caught, which forced her to tag up and not be able to take third base.
I agree.
You wait at second. I don't think that throw gets there in time from Sacco, and you can get to 3, but forced her to stay at 2.
Ashton Maloney, leadoff hitter in the order, lines one right to Sacco, and the inning will come to a close. The Longhorns will strand a... Yeah, bottom of the 5th now. Of course, it was the 6th inning when Texas really got going offensively against State in Game 1, albeit State found a way to respond and got 2 more runs on the board to win it in dramatic fashion, 4-3.
Right, similar situation. Texas might have a run right now, but at the moment, 2-run deficit, which is what it was when they went into that 6th inning. So see if they can find an answer. They got to find 3 outs against the Mississippi State offense first.
And it's the top 3 hitters in the lineup, Sacco, Barbary, and Blaine. Sacco hitless in the ball game. But Barbary and Blaine behind her have gone a combined 3 for 4. So a tough section of the State lineup for Gutierrez to navigate. That ball's downstairs. One thing I forgot to mention to you last half inning was that Ella Wesolowski entered the game for State at catcher. Oh, Sacco didn't know what to do with that one. A beautiful pitch by Gutierrez, and she will sit Sacco down on strikes.
Yeah, not the best outing for Sacco in this game, still hitless, but going 2 for 3 in that Game 1, and really at the moment, State not needing her, so not hurting them, but obviously would still love the help of your leadoff hitter, who coming into this one was batting .514.
It has certainly been an uncharacteristic night for Sacco. High flying ball off the bat of Barbary. Scott calls for it. She makes the catch. And there are 2 gone.
Yeah, this is the thing about Texas is, yeah, they might be down, and yeah, they might have lost Game 1, but they stick around, and they're kind of just little by little nudging at you, waiting for that moment. Wasn't able to get it done in Game 1, even though they were right there ready to do it, but they're not allowing Mississippi State to expand that lead. The largest deficit they've had today was 3, and it was a couple of innings to go, and they answered, and they just stick around with you and kind of wait for you to make the mistake. The issue is Mississippi State hasn't made many of them today. It's one of those games where you got to take advantage of your opportunities, but the Bulldogs haven't given them any.
State really didn't make any obvious glaring mistakes in Game 1. So far in Game 2, the only mistake you can point to is the base running error at third base in the first inning, but I'm not sure State would have scored anyway in that at bat because of what happened right afterwards. So you're right. Texas is one of the best in the country, maybe the best in the country, at simply not making mistakes and then taking advantage of the other team's mistakes. But to your point, and a great one at that, the Bulldogs have not given them that chance here in today's doubleheader. Jesse Blaine is the hitter. Blaine is 2 for 2. Has upped her average now to 352. Had a double in the first, a single in the third. Was left stranded, though, both times. Hard hit ball off the glove of Good. That rolls out into center field. Make it, I would score that a base hit. We'll see.
I mean, hard hit ball and just didn't get her body behind it, kind of trying to adjust to it, trying to make the running catch and throw, and not able to do that. Keeps the inning alive as Blaine gets to first. And again, we've mentioned Kylie Edwards, who's up to bat right now, how dangerous of a player she's become throughout the course of the season.
That ball's going to drop in right on cue. Edwards hits one hard, a line drive into center field, and the Bulldogs have 2 on the bases now. They're going to score that an error, by the way, on Blaine's hard hit ball. That's going to be an E6 charge to Good. So that'll be, by my count, our first error of the ball game. That ball is going to be stabbed at third by Stewart. Throw to first is there in time, and that will end the inning. So Stewart, nice job defensively. State strains a pair. They lead by 2, though, after 5. Your score is 3-1. Mississippi State leading Texas. Top of the 6th. This is where Texas did all their offensive damage against Chaffin in game 1. They're facing her here again in game 2. Chaffin came on last inning in relief of Delaney Everett, who I think had her best SEC outing so far this year in the circle for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, I think really interesting that you go back and put Chaffin out after she completes a game, and just about every batter for Texas saw her 3 times, and I mean, you're going on 4th and 5th times these batters have seen her in a day. Just better hope they don't catch on to what she's doing.
It's only a matter of time, right?
It feels like it should be, but she has been one heck of a pitcher this season.
To her credit, one of the things she does really well, as Henry hits one on a rope out to right field. A big leadoff single, and here we go again. 6th inning magic, perhaps, for Texas.
Kind of puts that one in on the handles, just a good piece of hitting, puts it into right field, and gets the leadoff single for Texas. Got to find a way to rally here. Again, getting late into this game, Texas just not putting hits or runs on the board.
That was just the 3rd hit of the game for Texas. Alongside Cody Blazak, I'm Anthony Craven. It's been a fun night at the ballpark as we've had a double header of top 20 SEC softball action. 2 teams that are off to great starts in conference play. The 2 teams that right now sit right behind Oklahoma in the SEC standings. And the only reason Oklahoma's ahead of them is because Oklahoma's played more games. But the Bulldogs right now, just the 1 loss. Runner takes off, throw down, not quite in time. Really good stolen base there by Henry. That'll be her 23rd stolen base on the season. She's 23 of 24, although I think we might get our first challenge of the night.
In real time, I'm not sure that this is going to go Mississippi State's way.
Mike's not working. What he's saying is that the Bulldogs have challenged the call of safe at second base.
Some fans letting him know that his mic isn't working either. He's kind of laughing about it.
That's all right. He can yell loud enough, and
I could hear him from here.
yes. So we'll see what it looks like on replay, but in real time, I'm with you. I thought that Henry just beat the throw.
Kylie Edwards was convinced. I mean, jumping up, showing the sign of let's look at it. I'm not convinced. I think that's going to stay.
Yeah, she's safe. So good call. So runner in scoring position, tying run at the plate for Texas.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. You know, I don't absolutely hate the decision to look at it because we went game one, and what I thought late in the game, either team could have called some to maybe get a call reversed. It wouldn't hurt to have them look at it just in case. And we're in that situation now where we're getting later in a game. You've got them, use them.
Yep.
See if you can get a call to go your way.
And now we got time called. I think we're trying to figure out what the count is. And Tanya Cash says it is a 1-2 count. 1 ball, 2 strikes. I think the Texas coaching staff thought perhaps it was a 2-1 count. That ball breaks, but breaks late and stays high. The count evens up now 2-2. The crowd wanted it, but it stayed just a little bit high. Scott is the batter. She's 1 for 2 tonight. Had a home run her last time up. Hits one to Hull. The only plays at first. And Hull gets the out there. Advancing over to third is Henry. And now Texas has a great chance to manufacture a run with a runner at third and less than 2 outs.
Yeah, this is what Texas needed in the previous inning where they tried to lay a bunt down and advance the runners. It just didn't pan out for them. Now you got a runner on third and only 1 out. You don't have to score 2 runs here, but you have to find a way to drive in Henry.
And you've got your best overall player at the plate.
Yeah, if you're Texas, this is exactly who you want hitting right now. Reese Atwood, you take a look at her numbers, 48 RBIs, this is who you want to help this team.
Big swing and a miss there on the changeup. And this right here is what Chaffin does so well. Changes speeds, mixes her locations. So even when you've seen her 3, 4, 5 times, she'll throw you something different. It'll look like a similar pitch, but all of a sudden it's 10 miles an hour slower, right? Or it falls off the table, or it catches the inside corner versus the outside corner.
She's a sneaky pitcher.
Very. That misses down and in. The count is 2 balls and a strike on Atwood, who is 0 for 2 in the ball game. Earlier today, Atwood was 1 for 3, so a 1 for 5 doubleheader at the plate so far for Atwood. Still batting over 400 on the year. Lines one into the outfield. That will drive in the run. State's lead has been trimmed to 1. It's 3-2, and still just 1 out as Atwood collects her first hit and RBI of the game.
Yeah, good hit from Atwood. She did it in the first game, able to get a big hit that brought a run in, and able to do it again now in game 2. Like we said, if you don't put Texas away, they're going to get themselves back into it. They just stick around, and in inning number 4 and now number 6 both put 1 run on the board, and you cut it to 1. You got to find a way just to end the game. Continue to be aggressive and score runs, but this is why you see Texas is highly ranked as they are, and just what they're able to do.
Katie Siemens at the plate has fallen quickly into the 0-2 hole against Chaffin. Atwood runs the bases at first. Atwood, a solid base runner. Not the speed of Henry, but has good speed for a catcher. Snap throw to first, and Atwood gets back to the bag quickly. Texas has not tried to run as often tonight or today as they have in other ball games, mainly because Blaine and Wesolowski are really good at throwing out runners on the bases, especially they've had great success picking off runners at first base in particular.
They have rocket launchers attached to their arms. I mean, just gets the ball to where it needs to be in a hurry. Just doesn't waste any time about it, and it's paid off for him this season, being able to throw out some runners.
1-2 to Siemens. Grounder. Throw to second. Tag applied, yes. Boy, Edwards was able to corral that one and apply the tag to get the lead runner out at second. That was out Atwood.
Yeah, it's out, but I think
it's close.
I think Raylan Chaffin might have lost track of what runners were on what base. Her initial look was to third base and realized no one was there, had to turn around, get it to second in a hurry. And I think if she recognizes that lead runner is on first, there's enough time for a double play, just wasn't able to make the play in time. And a little wild of a throw.
Yes. That was a great job by Edwards to get up there and make that catch and get the tag applied.
I think that's a bit of panic is what we saw from Chaffin when she realized no one was on third. I have to hurry up and get this ball to second.
And she did just in time, and Edwards bailed her out. So
yeah, that's a very athletic play from Kylie Edwards.
Very. Atwood is retired. Wallace is now pinch running at first base after Siemens reached on the fielder's choice. At the plate is Leanne Good. Good is 0 for 2 in the ballgame. Struck out swinging back in the second, and then flew out into foul territory her last time up in the fourth. Runner takes off for second, throw gets away. Runner takes off for third. Wallace will now stand at third base, tying run just feet away on a ball that got away from the catcher Wesolowski.
Yeah, that makes this third out a lot more important now. Allowing a hit when Wallace was on first, I think you can deal with that. I'm not sure she necessarily gets home. A hit guarantees a run scored now and ties this one up. So this third out of the sixth inning just got a lot more important for the Bulldogs. Runner leaving early, is that what they're saying?
Well, I think so. The alumni in the outfield leading the cheers of Hail State. Yeah, we couldn't quite hear our crew chief. We got Michael Thibodeau and Donald Brown and Tanya Cash as our crew this weekend. So State is challenging, and the only thing they could be challenging would be if the runner left early. There was no interference from the batter getting in the way of the catcher, Wesolowski. They're going to see if the runner left first base early or not.
This is a bit of a lengthy review, too.
Looks like her foot is still on the bag. What do you think?
I think that, wow, that is close.
That's super close.
I think we're going to find out.
Yeah, it's a clean play. That was, I think Wallace timed it up just perfectly.
Again, we're getting later in this game. You have the challenges. Why not use them?
You
I
can't
think
take
this one. I think this one made more sense than the previous one. But why not use it? See if you can catch a break. That would have been a huge out, getting you out of the 6th inning. So I get the logic behind it.
Yeah, time called. Taryn Mowat McKinney trying to get someone's attention for time to be called. I think she had a question about what's the count. I thought it was 2-1. Apparently it's 1-1. So 1 ball, 1 strike. Breaking ball in there. Beautifully done. Now the count's 1-2. Good at the plate. Tying run, Wallace at 3rd. There are 2 gone, a 1-2 count. Chaffin trying to preserve the Bulldog lead into the home half of the 6th. Excuse me, swing. Someone's got to get to first base in time, and she does! Riley Hull dives to the bag just in time. I would imagine we're going to see a review of this. Bang, bang play with Good and Hull. If Good is safe, we're tied. If Good is out, then State maintains their 1-run lead as we head to the home half of the 6th. The call on the field is out.
Yeah.
Texas is going to challenge this.
One of the Texas, wow, that is close, but I think it's going to stand.
Oh man, that is close.
I think we're going to see it stand. Very close, but one of the Texas coaches, I couldn't see who it was, came running out of the dugout for the challenge, and I think Riley Hull's glove gets there. Just a hair
yeah, that was great job by Riley Hull. Fantastic effort. And we go to the bottom of the 6th. State on top, 3-2. Giving all-out effort, and Hull gets there just in time to record the out.
Yeah, if that play right there doesn't sum up what these 2 games have been like, I don't know what was. Both players putting their bodies on the line, trying to get the play, and that play is enormous for both teams because if she's safe, Texas scores a run, ties it up, we're still in the top of the 6th. But with the out, State gets out of it, doesn't have to deal with a rally from Texas, and now they get their chance to put more on the board.
Bernardini, a slow roller over to 3rd, and she beats the throw. That was a slow-moving bouncer that took 1 extra bounce before Stewart got to it. And Stewart's throw is not in time.
I mean, runs to the ball. Took a second for her to get that ball out of her hand. And Bernardini just really putting her foot in the ground and getting to first. A little bit of some momentum from Mississippi State.
Lead off infield single. That'll be for State, their 7th hit of the ball game. And really, they've hit the ball well in the ball game tonight. 7 of 21 as a team, as Kaylani Sells will step onto the bag at first as a pinch runner for State. And it brings up the catcher, Ella Wesolowski. Did not get the start at catcher, so therefore we have not seen her pick up a bat tonight until now. Is batting 148 on the year, trying to put a bunt down. Good idea, but cannot execute. The Bulldogs have not been able to execute the bunting game well today. It's one of the few things they haven't done well in this doubleheader. This time she does not show bunt and takes it for a strike. So quickly, Gutierrez gets out in front of Wesolowski, 0-2. Wasilowski trying to figure out a way to simply get Sells moved over into scoring position. That's a wasted rise ball, up and away, and the count's a ball and 2 strikes. Wasilowski at the plate. Pinch runner, Keilani Sells at first. Hole in the on-deck circle. Oh, swing and a miss. Big strikeout there for Gutierrez. Her 4th K in relief. She's now thrown 3 2/3 innings tonight. Has only allowed 1 run on 3 hits.
Came into a pretty tough position with her team trailing and has done a really good job to limit the damage. And oh boy.
The Bulldogs are going to use a pinch hitter, and it will be Paige Ernstis, who steps up for the first time in this game. Ernstis was the hero offensively of game 1. It was her pinch hit double in the 7th inning that scored the pinch runner, Abby Grace Richardson, and State walked it off and defeated Texas 4-3. That rise ball stays high, a little bit outside as well, and the count's even up at a ball and a strike.
Not really in a position to be the hero right now, but certainly make life a little easier for Mississippi State.
The Bulldogs would love some insurance here in the 6th.
You know, we talk about kind of a small sample size from Ernstis, a freshman, only 28 at-bats this season, batting .393, but the on-base percentage, being .469, is a freshman just having that ability to take walks, have that eye. I think that's huge for someone being that young, and just kind of adds an extra element to her game.
Especially when you don't see a lot of at-bats. So it's not like she gets into a rhythm. To be ready to go, and she hits that one high and far but foul. To be ready to go at the drop of a hat when your name is called and deliver in these situations as a true freshman is really remarkable. Takes it off the inside corner. That's a hard take, but a good take. Now the count's full. Sells at first base. High fly ball, foul territory. Should run out of room. Yeah, it'll drop down there by the indoor facility next to the Bulldog bullpen.
I really don't know if I would throw to her right now. She is making solid contact, just not keeping it fair. I just don't know if you want to give her anything hittable.
She's been a little out in front of everything. Hits that one right back behind home plate. And that time timed up the swing well, but just got a little bit underneath it. And the at-bat continues.
Good thing for Texas, though, Gutierrez has not strayed from a challenge. She has taken everything head on tonight and really has done a great job with it. So I don't blame her for going at Ernstis. It's just the fact that take a look at what she did in game 1, and you don't put her in unless you feel confident.
Runner takes off for second. A strike him out, throw him out. Beautifully executed by Texas. They get a strike him out, throw him out to end the inning. And we're going to go to the 7th. 3 innings in relief after Delaney Everett gave the Bulldogs a quality start. The Bulldogs scored 3 runs in the first 3 innings and haven't scored since. Texas's reliever Gutierrez has done a good job handcuffing them and keeping them off the scoreboard.
It's been a heck of a day for Braylon Chaffin. Coming into this inning, 9 total innings, 138 pitches thrown. I mean, she's been put to work today and has been very successful, and 3 outs away from taking the series against the #1 team in the nation.
If the Bulldogs can hold on, it would be their first series win over a #1 ranked team in school history. They got 3 more outs though to go. An 0-2 count to Katie Stewart. She fouls it off to stay alive.
You might take a look at the lineup and say, oh, this might be a little easy. Bottom of the lineup, there is no easy part of the lineup on this Texas lineup. 1 through 9 can hit, and they can hit very well. So the challenge continues, and I think it's going to be a fun final 3 outs here.
Yeah, it's Stewart, Mitchell, Bennett. Due up, swing and a miss, strikeout from Chaffin. And that is Chaffin's first strikeout of this game as she gets
pitch.
her 7th out of this relief outing. I'm not even sure what kind of pitch that was.
Puts it upstairs and blows it past Stewart. I mean, the ability for Raylan Chaffin to change location, change the pitches, really just have the ability to throw whatever she wants, multiple different kinds of pitches. Is not many pitchers in the nation have that ability, and she takes full advantage of it. And like you see there's a reason that she is the ace of this team.
That was a high velocity pitch right there. 1-1 the count now on Jolie Mitchell, who is 0 for 1 tonight. A .390 hitter on the year, batting in the number 8 position in the lineup. Reached. Oh, high fly ball deep, and we are tied. Texas has come back again to tie it up in the 7th inning, down to their last 2 outs. And it's Mitchell who hits a moonshot off of Chaffin to knock this game up at 3.
We talk about it, just because it's the bottom of this Texas lineup doesn't mean that they can't hit. This is exhibit A of what they can do. And Mitchell we've seen a couple from Texas. When they hit the deep ball, they're hitting it dead center field at the deepest part of the park. And just like that, Texas ties it, gives themselves a little more light.
Mitchell just got her 8th home run of the season. That was her first hit of the night, and it was the biggest one so far for the Longhorns. And it brings up now Katie Bennett, the 9-hole hitter, 0 for 2 against MSU pitching in the game. Steps up, shows bunt, takes it for a strike. So now the mentality changes a bit. If you're Texas, you can exhale some and go, okay, we know we've at least extended the game. Now, let's try to go out there and take a lead like we did in game 1 and give ourselves a chance at some redemption. For the Bulldogs now, you got to kind of recalibrate and go, okay, we can't win it in this half inning, but we have to make sure we go into the home half of the 7th, not trailing.
Yeah, I don't know if I can breathe if I'm Texas either, because you saw what happened in the 7th inning of last game. Tie game, and just like that, Mississippi State walks it off. So if I'm head coach Mike White in Texas right now, we're still trailing. Score another run.
Keep your foot on the gas.
Yeah, you don't want to go to extras if you don't have to. Try and win this in regulation and be done with it. Have the rubber match on Sunday.
The 1-2 just misses off the outside corner. Boy, the crowd really wanted that for a call of strike 3.
Yeah, there have been a couple of times where I think the crowd might have helped the influence of the call, just not that time.
Excuse me, Sweeney. Throw to first, won't be in time. That right there is slap hitting 101. Just hit it to the deepest part of the infield and use your speed. That's what Bennett did. A winning run or lead run, potential winning run at first base now for Texas.
And that's what you can't allow if you're Mississippi State. You could not allow a base runner in that instance. Extend the inning. Yes, you can get a double play, but just makes it a little tougher. If you could have recorded that one out, you only have to deal with one more. Instead, you had to deal with 2 outs, and now you're at the top of the lineup.
Strike is delivered to Maloney. Stewart struck out to begin the inning. Mitchell then a home run to straightaway center field to tie the game. Bennett an infield single. And now Maloney and Henry are due up. That's a ball lifted into left. Going to drop in for a single in front of Kehlani Sells. Stopping at second is Bennett. Back-to-back base hits for Texas. And the Longhorns are cooking here in the 7th.
That's exactly what Texas needs. Get a little momentum, put a little hitting together, and just like that, you're threatening Mississippi State.
Bennett at second, Maloney at first. Henry, who is 1 for 3 in the game, is at the plate. She got a single and scored a run against Chaffin just last inning. Chaffin has gone 2 1/3, has allowed a couple of earned runs on 5 hits, has struck out just 1. So Texas, at least here in game 2, making better contact and getting the ball put into play against Chaffin with a little more regularity than they did in game 1. Ground ball through for a base hit. Rounding third is Bennett. She will come home, no throw, and Texas has come all the way back, and they've taken the lead at 4-3.
A team that's just going to stick around finally starts to collect some hits, puts it all together, and just like that, able to put 2 on the board in the top of this 7th inning, and still just 1 away. Good play in center field, though, from Sierra Sacco. Thought about trying to make that throw home. Instead, holds back, doesn't let Maloney advance to third. Still have a chance here to turn a double play with just a 1-run deficit.
Timeout called by Taryn Mowat-McKinney. Walked out there, had a very short conversation with her pitcher, Raylan Chaffin. In this inning, 4 hits already for Texas. The Longhorns coming into the inning had 4 hits in the entire game. They've already matched their offensive output for the first 6 innings combined here in the 7th inning, getting to Chaffin, and the inning is still far from over. 2 were on base, still just 1 out. Scott is at the plate. She's 1 for 3 in the ball game. Had a home run in the 4th, sandwiched in between a couple of ground outs. And now the Texas fans in attendance are making some noise. Boy, she swung at that one. No, they say she didn't go around.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
That's bizarre.
And even dropping the bat, too. I am not entirely sure about that. Yeah, goes around.
Oh, my goodness.
Drops the, yeah, I don't know about that.
That is just a blown call there. Hard hit ball deep to left. It is going to be gone, and Texas has broken the game wide open. A 3-run home run off the bat of Scott, her 2nd home run of the game. And the Longhorns offense has erupted in the 7th inning, down to their final 2 outs. They have scored 5 runs on 5 consecutive hits and now lead 7-3.
I'm not sure the strike really matters now. That this one just sent way back. And just like that, Texas with a pretty convincing lead right now. This is what we talk about. Have to find a way to close the door. Bulldogs weren't able to do that, and like that, Texas takes a commanding lead.
And that's going to do it for Raylan Chaffin. Pitched well in the 5th and 6th innings, but just didn't have enough in the gas tank for the 7th inning. That'll bring in Lexi Sosa. We'll give you Sosa's numbers on the season after this break. Your brand new pitcher for Mississippi State is the senior right-hander from San Diego, Lexi Sosa. She becomes the 3rd Bulldog pitcher in the ball game, replacing Raylan Chaffin after Chaffin gave up 5 runs on 5 hits, 5 consecutive hits, including 2 home runs in this inning, as Texas has come all the way back from once upon a time down 3-0 and then down 3-2 here in the 7th, down to their last 2 outs. They've scored 5 unanswered so far runs to go on top by 4. And Sosa will now pitch to Atwood and then Wallace. If either of them reach good, will be due up. Stewart led off the inning by striking out, but since then, every other Texas batter has reached safely. Fly ball, foul territory, and out of play. A couple of home runs tonight for the senior Mia Scott. Her first career for the senior, first career multi-home run game.
Big moment, too. Needed it in this one. A team that was really struggling to make contact with the ball finally erupts in the 7th. The question is, can they hang on?
And now it's Texas that has some insurance on the board. After they got the lead, they got the big 3-run home run. The Bulldogs unable to get that big hit themselves in the 5th or 6th innings when they needed some insurance. Hard hit ball right at the Bulldog dugout. Boy, Atwood was way out in front of that one. Hard physical swing, but way out in front.
I would close that door.
Yes, I would just go sit down.
That too, yes.
1 ball, 2 strikes to count. Sosa, a 3-0 record on the year from the circle, has thrown just over 27 innings on the season, has a solid ERA of just over 3, has allowed 12 earned runs on 33 hits in 27 1/3 innings thrown, has walked 7, struck out 23. Has not given up very many extra base hits, just 1 home run, 1 triple, 4 doubles. Hard hit ball, but it's foul in the corner of left field.
I'm not sure that was the best pitch from Sosa either. Kind of left that one hanging in there, and lucky that Atwood didn't turn on it and send that one deep as well.
Atwood had a single and an RBI back in the 6th. Hits one high again and far, but again, it's a ball that's going to be up and in, and on the right-handed hitter, that's going to end up being a foul ball more often than not. Atwood grounded out in the 2nd, popped out in the 4th before breaking through with that RBI single last inning. There she goes, straightaway center field, hard hit ball, and Atwood now is 2 for 4 in the ball game. And those are the kind of at-bats we thought we would see all day from Atwood.
It took a little bit, really for everyone, to get comfortable and kind of start getting into a groove, but finally able to find it. And Mississippi State has, I think the best way to describe these first 2 games are the Bulldogs have dominated 13 innings.
Yes.
But this final 7th inning in this game, too, has just been nothing but Texas. And the dominance that we've seen from Mississippi State hasn't been enough to overcome this.
Yeah, that's what makes Texas so tough, is that if you give them a window, they're going to break in and make some plays happen. Foul tip. Going to call time momentarily. We'll let Jesse Blaine regroup after taking that foul tip off the catcher's gear.
Texas kind of just taken anything about the energy in this building out. Gone.
Just sucked it all away, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, it really feels like it's empty. It's not, but just that atmosphere is completely gone.
Bulldog fans were on the verge of celebrating a doubleheader sweep, and Texas said, not so fast. Looking ahead to the home half of the 7th, the Bulldogs will have Styles, Sacco, and Barbary due up as Seamitz hits one out of here, but foul. Seamitz 1 for 3 at the plate in this ball game. Now batting over 263. Snap throw to first, not quite in time. His diving back is Atwood. It's been a long top of the 7th. Just one out recorded by the Bulldogs. This is the 8th batter of the inning for Texas. Off speed and a good take by Seamitz. The 2-2 from Lexi Sosa. High fly ball, not very deep though. Sacco underneath it, she makes the catch for out number 2.
Took a while, but finally found a way to get that second out, and might be a little too late, but you still got to play like you have a chance. I mean, 4 runs is a lot, but as we just saw, Texas put 5 up in this inning, so I mean, it is possible. Just got to give yourself a chance.
Leanne Good, the 9th batter to step up this half inning. Number 6 batter in the lineup at the plate. 0 for 3 tonight with a strikeout. A fly out and a ground out. It was her ground out in the 6th inning that ended with her and Riley Hull diving simultaneously to get to the bag at first, and Hull just beat her to end the inning. At the time, that preserved State's lead of 3-2. Since then, though, Texas has just exploded with a really big inning here in the 7th. When they had to have it, Cody, they've come through in a major way, showing why they've been able to win so many games this year against good teams. Fly ball to center field. Sacco catches it, and that'll end the inning. Texas scores 5 runs on 6 hits, and now they are 3 outs away from coming away with a victory.
Going in this game, the thing is, though, this might be the most dangerous part of the lineup for Mississippi State, especially the way Morgan Styles has been playing, especially in these 2 games. You get her, and then you have to deal with Sacco and Barbary, so a chance, but Texas really trying to shut the door in the top of the 7th.
Ground ball gets through, throw to first is wild. Styles will stay put at first base. That ball got just under the glove of Stewart, and Good probably would have been better served just to hold on to that ball, but either way, Bernardini, or Styles rather, earns her way onto first base, and the Bulldogs, listen, if you're going to start a rally, You got to get base runners, and State gets one here to begin the home half of the 7th.
Yeah, and Stewart just it looked like didn't get her glove down in time. Read it right, got there in time, just couldn't get her glove down in time, and Stiles takes advantage of it. Bulldogs got to do the same exact thing.
And now the top of the order, Sierra Sacco steps up. Sacco is 0 for 3 in the ball game tonight. Was 2 for 3 in the first game today. But we haven't seen Sacco have many 0 for 4 ball games in her career. A 500 batting average this season and a career hitter of over 400.
You don't see many 0 for 4 games. You don't see many games where Sacco just doesn't get on base.
They've been very rare. She grounded out in the first and then struck out looking in both the second and the 5th. Trying to get on base for the first time tonight. Takes that one outside. Barbary in the on-deck circle. She's 1 for 3. You've also got Blaine due up. She's 2 for 3. If anybody else reaches, Edwards will come up, and she's 1 for 1. So, Cody, to your point, a really dangerous part of State's lineup if they can stay patient and really make Gutierrez work here in the home half of the 7th inning.
Yeah, and an experienced part too. Styles, no, but doesn't really matter now. She's already on base, but you get a couple of seniors, couple of juniors, and just like that, you get 2 on.
It looked like Gutierrez did not want to give Sacco anything to hit, but that was a fast walk.
I don't know if I would necessarily classify Sacco as a power hitter. Yes, she has that element to her game, but no, I don't think you want to give her an opportunity because you know she can make contact.
Texas will make a pitching change. Gutierrez in 4 1/3, only allowed 1 earned run. We'll introduce you to the brand new Longhorns pitcher right after this break. Your third Texas pitcher of the night is the ace of the Longhorns staff, the sophomore right-hander out of West Des Moines, Iowa, Tegan Chaffin. 19th appearance of the season in the circle, 14 wins from the circle, an ERA of 1.7. She has thrown 90 2/3 innings on the year, has struck out 121 batters. Earlier today, she got the start and took the loss in game 1 against Mississippi State, surrendering Cody 4 runs, 3 of them earned on 7 hits. We saw Texas finally get to the Bulldog ace, Chaffin, when she made a reappearance here in game 2 after going the distance in game 1. Now can State do the same to the Texas ace in a similar situation?
Yeah, similar game plan for Texas with pitching. I think the difference, though, Mississippi State expecting a little more work with Chaffin. You wonder if fatigue might have got to her. And yes, Chaffin threw 110 pitches in game 1, but she didn't throw another 40 or 50, whatever that number was, from the 5th inning like Chaffin did. So a little more rest, not as many pitches, and trying to close this one out. Again, my thing is, though, even when Chaffin came in, and now again for Texas, you've seen her quite a bit already today, so you might have an advantage.
Great effort there in right field by Maloney. Diving, but could not quite catch up to that one. Off the bat of Barbary, it falls harmlessly into foul territory in the right field corner. Here are the numbers for Chaffin in game 1. 6 2/3, could not get the final out. Allowed 4 runs, 3 of them earned on 7 hits. 100 more strikeouts than walks for Chaffin this year.
That sounds like a video game.
Right? If she can preserve the lead for Texas, it would be her 5th career save, but her first this season as Barbary chases the rise ball and goes down swinging for strike number 1, or for out number 1, rather.
Step in the right direction. A lot of velocity behind it. Gets Barbary swinging and can't make contact. That way the inning started. This is the way you need to see it go when you have a relief pitcher come in. So things looking up for Texas.
Styles at second, Sacco at first. Blaine is the batter. Now State's got to make the adjustment because Gutierrez and Chaffin are 2 very different pitchers. Swing and a miss, high velocity there as Blaine chases one just off the outside corner for strike 2.
I wonder if they look at matchup too in that first game and now with where they're at in the lineup. Blaine going 0 for 3.
Yep.
Again, a strikeout there. Barbary only went 1 for 3. You wonder if they're looking at that part of the lineup and saying they struggled. Let's continue to have them struggle.
Yeah. If you're going to make the change back to Chaffin, that was the time to do it. You hit the nail on the head there, Cody.
Yeah, you look at Barbary, Blaine, and Edwards in game 1 when a combined 2 for 9. No walks.
Ground ball. This could be it. Throw to first is there in time. Edwards says she was safe. And hold on, everything. The call is out. If it stands, Texas wins. We might get a review, though. So hold the phone.
It's close. I'm not sure this is going to go the Bulldogs' way, though.
Do the Bulldogs have a challenge left, though? Or is this being initiated by the home office or by the crew on the field? Split the doubleheader after dropping a close one to the Bulldogs in game 1. They score 5 in the 7th to take game 2. What a great day of softball here in Starkville.
Yeah, great gutsy effort win from Mississippi State in game 1, but Texas is number 1 for a reason. You see the resilience. They didn't give up. They stuck around, and when it mattered, they were able to put some runs on the board in the final inning and finally take the lead. And, hey, you get a rubber match on Sunday. That's a fun game.
Get a day off in between, and we'll see these two back again on Sunday. For Cody Blazak, I'm Anthony Craven saying so long from Starkville, Mississippi State and Texas.